Kathryn, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here amidst the snowy Boston trek you had to make.
Yes, it was quite snowy in Boston, but we made it finally after 5 hours or so.
How long does it normally take?
Like 3.5, 4, depending on how hard I like push the gas pedal down. But yeah,
It's like a bad traffic day.
it was a long day. Yeah.
Well, we're also glad to have you here, and I am so excited about what you're working on with wiseHer, and I'd love for you to tell everyone a little bit about what it is that you're doing.
Sure. wiseHer is an on-demand expert. We provide on-demand expert advice for women to help accelerate their business or career. And we're a global expert marketplace that connects women one-on-one with subject matter experts that helps them move their business forward faster.
That sounds pretty important.
We think so, yeah.
Why? What inspired you to do this?
Well, it was really based on my own personal story. As you mentioned, I survived Wall Street, and it really was more Wall Street survived me. But we, at the time, it was 2008, and Wall Street had melted down, and I was pregnant with my son. And so I lost my job when they shut our division. Then I had a brand new baby, and right around the same time, my mom had a brain aneurysm that left her paraplegic. And it was a really difficult time. I said it was like a bad country song. You know, all I needed was my dog to run away and my truck to break down, and I'd have a perfect hit, right? But I had to reinvent myself. I didn't have a choice. And the challenge I had, which a lot of women have, is that I didn't really have like a deep bench of advisors. I didn't have anybody that I could turn to and say, how did you start your business? I mean, when I graduated college, if you started your own business, you were a loser. Like, you were unemployable. That's why you started your own business. And now everybody's doing it. So I had to reinvent myself, and I called all my old brokers and asked them, what can I do? I can do sales training, marketing. They all wanted their websites to rank on the first page of Google. And I said, sure, how hard could that be, right? And apparently it's pretty hard, especially when the only thing you know how to do with Google is spell it. So I had to teach myself, and I started looking around, and people wanted me to take their course or read their book, and I thought, can I just find someone to show me how? And I did find somebody, and I got my first paying client in 2 weeks, and I turned that into a pretty successful consulting practice. And now I just want to take that energy and the network that I've built and really help other women with a deep bench of advisors as well.
That's awesome, and certainly inspiring and needed, given what is the stat that I think you share on your website where there's 12 million businesses owned by women.
Yeah, there's almost 13 million businesses owned by women. 90% of them are solopreneurs, and 88% are under 100,000 in revenue. So clearly we have some work to do.
So what's the difference? Like, what could move the needle there?
Well, what we found in our research was that 4 main challenges that women face. One is access to qualified advisors, which is why one of the reasons we started wiseHer. Again, not having that deep bench. The second is the confidence gap. Either a real or perceived lack of knowledge can hold a woman back. When a woman goes to apply for a job and it says 10 years experience and they have 9 years, 11 months, and 29 days, they're like, don't have it, so they have to, get that confidence. The third is what we call cognitive load, and it's all this extraneous stuff. Like this morning, I'm coming up here and I'm thinking about, my kids are home from school. Thank you, honey, for taking care of them. But really, it's like that thinking through that, like, this one wants to go to this place for a play date, whatever. And then the fourth is really funding. Women get less than 2% of the investment capital. And so it's like, how can we help? And so wiseHer is set up as a social enterprise, and we give back a portion of our proceeds in the form of grants to help women and corporate education for women.
What is something that is a typical challenge that you've seen that can be overcome by having a board of advisors or people to help get you through that challenge?
Well, I think really it's just realizing that you're not alone. There are people out there who want to help you, and there's a lot of them out there that want to help you. So just having that confidence of being able to reach out for pretty much any topic at any time, I think that is really helpful for folks to know. Yeah.
And on this note of, you mentioned that Wall Street survived you. So there's a story behind that sounds fun. Why? How did they survive you? Like, what did you do that makes you believe that they survived you?
Well, it was just a different time. I mean, I was one of the only women on the sales force, and I just did my own thing, and I just paved my own path. And I think what I'm doing now as an entrepreneur. I didn't really kind of go with all the norms and all the different things. You know, when my counterparts were spending their expense accounts, taking their clients to the strip club, I was buying them books. I was like, guys, I've got way better things to do, no offense. And so I bought them books. And so it was, but I was the top salesperson. So it really, I just kind of paved my own way. And I think it was different, yeah.
And do you think that prepared you for paving your way with wiseHer?
I think so, and I also think that that the story that I told about where this idea came from was challenging, right? But I think there are sometimes where you can look at situations and think, I'm never gonna be able to get out of this, or I can sit down here and kind of wallow in it, or I can stand up and keep going. And that's what I did. I just decided that I was gonna keep going, and I think those moments, and you hear this from a lot of probably entrepreneurs and a lot of women I talk to, usually it's by circumstance. They find themselves starting a business.
And who's one of your mentors that's helped you along the way?
Well, I have several, thank goodness, I have several mentors, but I have two women in particular who gave me a chance. They were VCs, and they gave me a chance and hired me as a consultant for a couple of their startups, and Anita Brereton and Cheryl Schultz, and they have been just amazing to me, really guided me through this whole process, because as a consultant for startups, I was sitting on the other side and watching them pitch investors and things like that, but now I'm the one who has to go out and do it. So it's just helpful to have somebody who's been there, done that can help you go through it. And so thankfully I have a pretty large set of mentors.
And did you raise capital?
So yes, we're in the process of raising capital now. So we were able to raise some capital very early on, which was really good. But we already have customers. I mean, we just launched about a month ago. We already have customers, and so we can see that this is something that is useful. But in the meantime, I'm still trying to close the round, and it's not fun.
Well, do you want some help practicing your pitch tonight?
I would love help.
All right, do you want to help her practice her pitch tonight, everyone?
Yeah.